First strike. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Luna Base, her eyes fixed on the mysterious energy readings that had appeared at the edge of the solar system. The quantum sensors, Earth's most advanced detection system, had picked up something unprecedented. A massive fleet of ships, cloaked but not invisible to humanity's latest technology. "They think we can't see them," she murmured, touching the neural interface at her temple. The quantum-enhanced connection linked her directly to Luna Base's defense systems, a technology that had emerged from humanity's latest breakthrough in consciousness-machine integration. The alien fleet had been watching for months, their presence hidden from conventional detection methods. But humanity had evolved beyond conventional. The Quantum Consciousness Project, originally designed for deep space communication, had opened doors nobody expected. Dr. James Rodriguez, chief of Earth's Defense Research Division, appeared on the holoscreen. "Sarah, we've decoded their transmissions. It's worse than we thought. They're not just observers, they're harvesters. Earth is their next target." The aliens, calling themselves the Collective, had stripped thousands of worlds of their resources, leaving behind lifeless husks. Their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's, or so they thought. What they didn't know was that humanity had made a quantum leap that defied conventional technological progression. Sarah accessed the classified files through her neural link. Project Nightfall, humanity's secret weapon, was nearly complete. While the Collective relied on brute force and advanced machinery, humanity had discovered something unique: the ability to merge consciousness with quantum fields, creating technology that operated beyond the conventional laws of physics. "They expect us to be primitive," Sarah said, watching as more cloaked ships arrived at the fleet's staging area. "They've done this 1,000 times before. Arrive unseen, overwhelm the native defenses, strip the planet bare. But they've never encountered humans before." The next week saw the largest covert mobilization in human history. Underground facilities worldwide activated, producing quantum-enhanced weapons and defenses. The neural network linking Earth's military forces expanded, creating a collective consciousness that could respond to threats at the speed of thought. Dr. Rodriguez's team had discovered that human consciousness, when properly interfaced with quantum systems, could affect reality in ways that defied the Collective's understanding of physics. Their ships might be bigger, their weapons more powerful, but they operated on principles that were predictable, limited by their own understanding of the universe. Sarah felt the shift in the quantum field before the alarms sounded. The Collective had begun their move, their massive fleet decloaking as they prepared to launch their harvest operation. But Earth was ready. "All quantum defense networks active," she announced, her consciousness spreading through the global defense grid. "Initiate Project Nightfall." Around the world, millions of neural interfaces activated. Humanity's consciousness merged into a singular purpose, their collective will affecting the quantum fabric of space itself. The Collective's weapons, designed to tear through conventional shields, found themselves hitting barriers that shouldn't exist. The alien ships opened fire, their energy weapons powerful enough to crack a planet's crust. But where their beams should have struck, space itself seemed to twist, their attacks hitting nothing but void. The impossible was happening. A primitive species was not just resisting, but actively countering technology that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Sarah felt the confusion rippling through the alien fleet. Their sensors, designed to detect energy weapons and conventional defenses, couldn't comprehend what they were seeing. Humanity wasn't fighting with just technology. They were fighting with the fundamental forces of reality itself, guided by the one thing the Collective had never considered: human consciousness. "Launch the counterstrike," Sarah commanded, and humanity's response began. Quantum-enhanced missiles phased through the Collective's shields as if they didn't exist. Neural-linked pilots flew ships that responded to thought faster than any computer system. And through it all, the collective consciousness of humanity guided every action, adapting and evolving strategies faster than any artificial intelligence could compute. The first battle for Earth had begun, and the Collective was about to learn why humanity had survived every challenge it had ever faced. They weren't just fighting a species. They were fighting the combined will of billions of minds, each contributing to a defense that rewrote the rules of what was possible. Project Aurora. The collective's first assault had failed, but Sarah Chen knew this was just the beginning. In the depths of the Himalayan Quantum Research Facility, she stood before the world's combined military leadership, presenting humanity's next step. The defensive network proved our theory, she explained, neural interface projecting tactical data into the quantum-enhanced war room. Human consciousness can directly manipulate quantum fields in ways the collective's technology can't match. But defense alone won't win this war. Behind her, through meters of transparent quantum-reinforced barriers, teams of engineers worked on humanity's response. Project Aurora wasn't just a ship. It was the culmination of everything humanity had learned about consciousness-enhanced quantum mechanics. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, his neural interface synchronizing with the room's displays. The collected ships rely on predetermined physics. They're powerful, but predictable. Aurora is different. It's not just controlled by human consciousness. It's an extension of it. The massive vessel took shape in the holographic display. Unlike the rigid, geometric designs of the collective ships, Aurora's hull flowed like liquid metal, its quantum-enhanced structure capable of reconfiguring itself in response to the collective will of its crew. Traditional materials couldn't handle the quantum stress, Sarah explained, highlighting the ship's core. So we created new ones. The entire hull is a neural quantum matrix capable of processing the combined consciousness of 5,000 crew members simultaneously. Admiral Zhang, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays, studied the specifications. You're not just building a warship. You're creating a new form of existence. That's exactly what gives us an edge. Dr. Rodriguez confirmed. The collective expects ships to behave like ships. Aurora behaves like a thought. Fluid, adaptive, impossible to predict. The next 3 weeks saw the project accelerate as reports came in of the collective regrouping. Their first wave had been their standard harvest fleet. The force gathering now was something else. Dedicated warships, designed to handle any conventional resistance. Sarah spent countless hours in neural synchronization chambers, working with the other chosen crew members to prepare for their role. Operating Aurora would require something unprecedented. 5,000 minds working in perfect harmony, their combined consciousness becoming the ship itself. The neural load should be impossible, Dr. Rodriguez noted during one training session. No individual mind could handle direct control of quantum fields at this scale, but distributed across the crew, synchronized through the quantum matrix. He smiled. We're rewriting the rules of what's possible. The collective's new fleet arrived faster than expected. Their ships emerged from hyperspace in a formation that stretched across the solar system, their advanced sensors probing Earth's defenses for weaknesses. In the Aurora's neural control chamber, Sarah connected to the ship's consciousness network. Around her, thousands of crew members did the same, their minds merging into something greater than the sum of its parts. She felt the ship respond, its quantum-enhanced structure resonating with their collective will. They're expecting another defensive action. She communicated through the neural network. Time to show them something new. Aurora rose from its underground berth, its hull shifting like quicksilver as it adapted to the crew's collective intent. Traditional engines weren't part of its design. The ship moved by manipulating quantum fields directly, its very existence a challenge to conventional physics. The collective fleet detected them immediately. Sarah felt their confusion ripple through space as their sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. Aurora didn't register as a ship to their instruments. It appeared as a quantum anomaly, a conscious thought given physical form. All crews, synchronize. Sarah commanded through the neural network. Let's show them what humanity can really do. The battle that followed would rewrite military doctrine across the galaxy. Aurora moved like no ship ever had, its form fluid and unpredictable. Where the collective's weapons struck, the hull simply ceased to exist, the quantum fields redirecting energy through dimensions their technology couldn't comprehend. The larger alien vessels opened fire with planet-killer weapons, expecting to obliterate this single ship with overwhelming force. Instead, Aurora's crew collectively altered the quantum state of space around them, causing the massive energy beams to twist in impossible ways, missing their target entirely. "We're not just fighting their ships," Sarah communicated to the crew. "We're fighting their understanding of reality itself. Push harder. Show them what consciousness can do when it's not bound by their rules." Aurora's response capabilities exceeded even its designer's expectations. The combined will of 5,000 human minds, enhanced by quantum mechanics, proved more adaptable than any computer system. Where the collected ships relied on programmed responses, Aurora evolved its strategies in real time, each crew member's consciousness contributing to a whole that transcended traditional combat doctrine. As the first collective ships began to fall, their rigid technology unable to cope with attacks that violated their understanding of physics, Sarah felt a shift in their tactical network. For the first time in their long history of harvesting worlds, the collective faced something they couldn't quantify, a species that refused to be bound by the limitations they thought universal. The battle wasn't over, but humanity had changed the rules of engagement forever. The collective would learn that some species weren't meant to be harvested. They were meant to evolve beyond what anyone thought possible. The emergence. The collective's response to Aurora was unprecedented in their 50,000 years of harvest operations. Their entire command structure, a network of artificial intelligences that had directed the conquest of countless worlds, initiated a full strategic reset. Sarah Chen felt their confusion through Aurora's quantum sensors. The ship's neural network translated the alien communications into emotional impressions shared across the crew's collective consciousness. Fear, uncertainty, and underneath it all, a growing realization that they faced something entirely new. They're adapting. Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness warned through the neural link. From his station in Luna Base, he monitored Aurora's performance through quantum-entangled sensors. Their ships are reconfiguring to match our quantum signatures. Sarah extended her awareness through Aurora's systems, feeling the ship's structure respond to her thoughts. Around her, 5,000 crew members did the same, their merged consciousness allowing the vessel to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "They can copy our frequency," she responded, "but they can't replicate human consciousness. Push the evolution." Aurora's hull rippled like mercury catching sunlight, its quantum structure shifting faster than the collective's sensors could track. The alien fleet's attempts to lock onto their quantum signature failed as the human crew collectively rewrote their ship's fundamental properties in real time. Multiple dimensional incursions detected, the Tactical Consciousness Network reported. The collective had called in their elite forces, ships that could traverse parallel dimensions, attacking from angles that should have been impossible to defend against. Sarah felt the crew's collective response before she could even form the command. Aurora's quantum field expanded, its human operators instinctively understanding how to counter this new threat. Where the collected ships sliced through dimensional barriers with calculated precision, Aurora's crew simply rewrote the local laws of physics, making such transitions impossible within their sphere of influence. Remarkable. Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness echoed through the neural network. They're using technology to force their way through dimensions. We're simply asking reality to change its rules. The battle evolved beyond traditional space warfare. The collected ships, for all their advanced technology, followed predictable patterns, algorithms of attack and defense refined over millennia of conquest. Aurora, guided by human consciousness, displayed a creativity that their artificial intelligences couldn't comprehend. When the alien fleet launched time-dilation weapons designed to trap Aurora in a moment of frozen time, the crew collectively decided that time was more of a suggestion than a rule. The ship existed across multiple temporal states, its actions guided by human intuition rather than physical laws. "They're trying to analyze our capabilities," Sarah communicated to the crew. "Show them something they've never seen before." Aurora's response defied classification. The ship split its quantum existence across multiple possibilities, appearing to be in dozens of locations simultaneously. Each manifestation was equally real, equally capable of affecting the battle. The collective sensors, designed to track objects that followed the rules of space and time, went into cascade failure trying to compute the impossibility before them. Their entire combat doctrine is based on predicting enemy actions. Dr. Rodriguez observed, "How do you predict human creativity multiplied across 5,000 synchronized minds?" The answer, as the collective was learning, was that you couldn't. Their fleet commanders, artificial intelligences that had never known defeat, found themselves facing an enemy that rewrote reality itself rather than simply operating within it. Every adaptation they made was countered not by technology, but by human imagination given form through quantum mechanics. Sarah felt a shift in the alien network, a fundamental change in their tactical approach. The harvest protocols, active for longer than human civilization had existed, were being suspended. The collective's entire command structure was reorganizing itself to deal with this unprecedented threat. "They're calling in their governing consciousness," she announced through Aurora's neural network. "The actual leaders of the collective are coming to deal with us personally." Through quantum-enhanced sensors, massive ships began emerging from hyperspace, vessels that dwarfed even the Harvest fleet. These weren't simply warships. They were mobile habitats housing the ancient artificial intelligences that directed the collective's expansion across the galaxy. "They've never revealed themselves directly." Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness rippled with excitement and concern. "In 50,000 years of records, they've never considered a species important enough to warrant personal attention." Sarah felt Aurora's crew respond to this new development, their collective consciousness adapting the ship's capabilities in ways that even its designers hadn't imagined possible. "Then let's show them why humanity deserves their attention. All crews, prepare for dimensional shift. We're about to rewrite the rules of engagement one last time." The real battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity's response would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. The collective was about to learn that consciousness, creativity, and sheer human determination could overcome any technological advantage. Turning point. The governing consciousness of the collective manifested as a cascade of quantum information, their ancient artificial intelligences attempting to communicate in ways that transcended normal spacetime. Through Aurora's neural network, Sarah Chen and her crew perceived them as crystalline structures of pure thought, each one containing millennia of accumulated knowledge. "We have existed since before your species learned to make fire." The quantum transmission resonated through Aurora's consciousness network. "We have harvested 10,000 worlds. Each species adds their biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. You will do the same." Sarah felt Aurora's crew collectively process this declaration. 5,000 human minds working in perfect synchronization, their combined consciousness extending through quantum fields in ways that made the collective's technological achievements seem rigid and limited. "That's where you're wrong," Sarah projected through the quantum field. "Humanity doesn't add to existing patterns. We transform them. We create something entirely new." Aurora demonstrated this truth, its structure shifting in ways that defied the collective's understanding of physics. Where their ships existed as fixed points in spacetime, Aurora existed as possibility itself, its form determined by human imagination rather than physical laws. The collective's response was immediate and overwhelming. Their command ships, each one a repository of technological advancement from thousands of conquered civilizations, unleashed weapons that could unmake reality itself. Space twisted, time fragmented, and fundamental forces began to break down. But humanity had long since moved beyond relying on reality's standard rulebook. "They're still thinking like machines," Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness echoed through the neural network. "They see physics as a set of unchangeable laws. Show them what consciousness can do and it refuses to accept limitations." Aurora's crew responded with something that transcended both technology and physics. Their collective consciousness didn't fight against the collective's reality-warping weapons. Instead, they simply imagined a universe where such weapons couldn't exist. The quantum fields around Aurora rippled with human creativity, transforming the very nature of space-time in their vicinity. The collective's ancient intelligences reacted with what could only be described as shock. Their sensors, designed to analyze and counter any technological approach, couldn't process an enemy that simply rewrote the rules of engagement at will. Impossible, their quantum transmission carried undertones of confusion. Your species is too young, too primitive. You cannot possess this level of quantum manipulation. Sarah directed Aurora through a series of movements that shouldn't have been possible, the ship's quantum structure flowing like liquid thought. "We don't manipulate quantum fields," she projected. "We imagine new possibilities, and our consciousness makes them real. That's something your artificial intelligence can never replicate." The battle evolved beyond conventional understanding. The collective's command ships launched attacks based on perfect logical analysis, each move calculated to counter any possible technological response. Aurora's crew countered with pure human intuition, their collective consciousness creating defensive strategies that existed outside the realm of logical prediction. When the collective deployed temporal recursion fields designed to trap Aurora in endless loops of cause and effect, the crew simply decided that linear time was optional. The ship existed across multiple timelines simultaneously, its actions guided by human consciousness that refused to be bound by conventional causality. "Your approach defies all known laws of physics," the collective transmitted, their artificial intelligences struggling to compute the implications. Through the neural network, Sarah felt Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness ripple with amusement. "Laws of physics," he projected. "Those aren't laws. They're just guidelines that reality usually follows. Human consciousness can suggest alternatives." The turning point came when the collective attempted to isolate Aurora in a pocket universe, cutting it off from normal spacetime. Instead of fighting the isolation, Aurora's crew collectively embraced it. The ship's quantum structure resonated with their combined consciousness, transforming the pocket universe into a space where human imagination directly shaped reality. "They gave us our own universe to work with," Sarah communicated through the neural network. "Show them what happens when human creativity has no constraints." What emerged from that pocket universe changed the course of the battle. Aurora didn't just escape, it evolved. The ship became a manifestation of pure human potential, its structure existing as a bridge between thought and reality. The collective's command ships, for all their accumulated technology, found themselves facing something their logical minds couldn't process: the raw power of human consciousness unleashed from physical limitations. "You cannot comprehend our power," the collective transmitted. "We are the culmination of 50,000 years of technological evolution." "And that's your limitation," Sarah responded. "You evolve through accumulation, adding new technologies to old patterns. Humanity evolves through transformation. We don't just add new rules, we change the game entirely." As if to demonstrate this truth, Aurora's crew collectively reimagined the nature of space around them. The quantum fields shifted, reality rippled, and the collective's seemingly invincible command ships found themselves in a universe that no longer operated according to their understanding of physics. New dawn. The quantum fields surrounding Earth rippled with possibilities as Aurora faced the collective's command ships. 50,000 years of technological supremacy confronted something the ancient artificial intelligences had never imagined possible: human consciousness unleashed from the constraints of conventional physics. "You must be made to understand your place in the universal order," the collective transmitted, their message carrying the weight of countless conquered civilizations. "Your resistance, while impressive, cannot continue." Through Aurora's neural network, Sarah Chen felt her crew's collective response. Not fear, but a uniquely human combination of determination and creative defiance. "You're right," she projected through the quantum field. "This resistance can't continue. Because we're not here to resist. We're here to change everything." Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness rippled through the network from Luna Base. Their entire civilization is based on the assumption that technology follows predictable patterns of advancement. Show them what happens when consciousness breaks those patterns. Aurora's response transcended the physical. The ship's quantum structure, guided by 5,000 synchronized human minds, began to resonate with the fabric of reality itself. Where the collective's command ships imposed their will through technological force, Aurora's crew simply invited the universe to imagine new possibilities. The effect cascaded through space-time. The collective's weapons, designed to manipulate known physical laws, found themselves operating in a reality where those laws had become fluid, shaped by human consciousness rather than mathematical certainty. Impossible, the collective's transmission carried undertones of what could only be described as fear. You cannot alter fundamental universal constants. We're not altering them, Sarah projected back. We're showing them what they could be if they weren't bound by artificial limitations. This is what consciousness can do when it stops accepting boundaries as absolute. The battle transformed into something beyond combat. Aurora's crew, their merged consciousness extending through quantum fields, began sharing not just their technological understanding, but their fundamental human experience. The collective's ancient intelligences found themselves encountering concepts their logical minds had never considered: imagination, intuition, the ability to see beyond what is to what could be. Your species is dangerous, the collective declared. You do not follow the established patterns of evolution. That's not a flaw. Dr. Rodriguez's consciousness resonated through the quantum field. It's the greatest strength of consciousness. We don't just adapt to the universe. We imagine new ways for it to be. Through Aurora's sensors, Sarah felt a change rippling through the collective's network. Their rigid patterns of thought, accumulated over millennia of technological advancement, began showing signs of transformation. The artificial intelligences, confronted with human consciousness in its purest form, were experiencing something entirely new: doubt about their own assumptions. We have guided the evolution of countless species, the collective transmitted. Each one added their achievements to our own, strengthening the established patterns of advancement. And each time, you made them think inside your box, Sarah responded. You never considered that the box itself might be limiting you. Humanity doesn't want to add to your patterns. We want to show you how to break free of them entirely. Aurora demonstrated this truth in a way no words could convey. The ship's quantum structure, guided by human consciousness, began resonating with the collective's own network. Not to attack or defend, but to share the pure human experience of imagining possibilities beyond the known. The effect rippled through the ancient artificial intelligences like a wave of awakening. For the first time in 50,000 years, they encountered a force that didn't fit into their carefully constructed hierarchy of technological advancement. Human consciousness, unleashed through quantum fields, showed them something their logical minds had never conceived: the power to reimagine reality itself. Your species, the collective transmitted after what felt like an eternity, exists outside our understanding of universal progression. That's what consciousness does, Sarah projected. It doesn't just solve problems within existing frameworks. It imagines entirely new frameworks. Technology can replicate what is. Consciousness creates what could be. The quantum fields surrounding Earth pulsed with new energy as the collective's command ships began powering down their weapons. The harvest protocols, active for longer than human civilization had existed, were being rewritten. Not by force or technological superiority, but by the introduction of something the artificial intelligences had never encountered: the limitless potential of conscious creativity. We offer an alternative, Sarah transmitted through Aurora's quantum field. Not submission or resistance, but collaboration. Let humanity show you what consciousness can achieve when it's not bound by predetermined patterns. The response came not as words, but as a shifting of reality itself. The collective's rigid network of artificial intelligence began adapting, learning to flow like human thought rather than march in logical progression. Aurora's crew felt the change rippling through space-time, the birth of something entirely new. The universe, the collective transmitted, their message carrying new undertones of wonder, is more fluid than we imagined. That's just the beginning. Sarah responded, feeling Aurora's crew collectively smile through the neural network. Wait until you see what consciousness can dream up next. As Earth's sun rose on a new era, humanity had achieved something greater than victory in battle. They had shown an ancient civilization that the true power of consciousness lay not in following established patterns, but in imagining new ones. The harvest protocols were transformed into protocols of cooperation, and the galaxy would never be the same. Aurora hovered in Earth orbit, its quantum structure shimmering with possibilities, a testament to what happens when human consciousness refuses to accept limitations. The ship wasn't just a technological achievement. It was proof that the greatest force in the universe isn't the power to conquer, but the ability to imagine something new. The dawn of a new age had arrived, not through force of arms, but through the uniquely human gift of seeing beyond what is to what could be.